We need to be honest about Zion Williamson. Let's get into this. Coming out of college from Duke, everybody knew that Zion Williamson was going to be a star in this league. He was one of the most hyped prospects ever since LeBron James. And when Zion got to the NBA, he really didn't disappoint. In his very first game against the San Antonio Spurs, he was spraying down threes when there's a lot of critics about his jump shot form and not being able to hit jump shots. And he quieted those haters real fast. It's obviously very difficult to live up to the hype, especially when you got the amount of hype that Zion Williamson did. And Zion definitely lived up to the hype and exceeded the expectations slightly, at least at this point in his career. In Zion's rookie season, he put up an incredible 22 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 2.1 assists per game on an insanely high 58% shooting from the field. Those are numbers you usually see from a guy who's been working on his game for years and he's been in the NBA for years and finally became a superstar. But when you talk about Zion, he's a rookie. He went to college 1 year, he came into the NBA, he's in his rookie season, and he's putting up those kind of numbers. That's obviously a special talent. Offensively, Zion is so special in this league. He's just so big and strong, it's very difficult for any other NBA defender to guard that. He has the athleticism to get to the basket and that strength to finish over defenders. And obviously Zion is insanely athletic, so he gets to the basket with that bulldozer finesse, and when he gets to the basket, he just easily dunks over you. So as a defender, you literally have no choice. You have to foul him or get dunked on. And Zion's game is also super effective because obviously you want to put your best defender on Zion to guard him, but when Zion is bulldozing into the paint and dunking over people and you really have no choice other than fouling him, that guy, that initial defender that's guarding him, is typically going to get in foul trouble, and that's your best defender, and now you got to go to another defender. So over time it could potentially also get easier for Zion. So now your main defender and your best defender on your team is in foul trouble, so you bring in that other guy, but Zion's continuously getting to the basket and getting that guy in foul trouble. So what do? You have to bring additional defenders to come in and double, even triple team him. But Zion is a well above average passer and very underrated passer as well, so a lot of the times he easily kicks out to wide open shooters in the corner. Now as a defender, you're in a huge predicament, and if Zion Williamson could ever learn how to shoot consistently from the 3-point range, it's absolutely over. It's crazy because a lot of guys, when Zion Williamson came into college, were saying that all he was is a dunker and he couldn't do much else. Then he proved in college that he was definitely more than a dunker, and now coming into the NBA, they were saying that he's not going to be able to get to the basket as easily as he was in college because the guys in college aren't as good as the NBA players, obviously. And now when he's in the NBA, he's continuously getting to the basket pretty easily for his stance, and now people just don't know what to say at this point. Zion is obviously such a special talent in this league, and if healthy, which is a big key, but if he is healthy, I definitely think he will be a superstar in this league for years to come. But obviously, like any other player, Zion does have a few flaws in his game. Obviously there's injury concerns, and I'll get into that later on in the video, but just going off his basic game, I touched upon it a little bit before in the video, but one of Zion's biggest issues on the court is the fact that he's not a great shooter. Well, obviously you don't have to be a great shooter when you're as good in other areas like Zion is, but he just has to be a decent shooter, and he's not that at the moment. When you look at Zion shoot currently, obviously yeah, there are games where he's hitting his jump shot, but for the most part his form isn't great. And yeah, there have been some NBA players in the league that were able to shoot a pretty decent percentage with an unorthodox jump shot, but when you look at Zion's jump shot, it's too low and he's kind of just flinging it in there, and it's not super consistent, obviously. And I really do think that Zion needs to at least tweak his jump shot in order to get his jump shot percentage higher. Obviously I wouldn't recommend that Zion completely overhauls his jump shot and works with a shooting coach that would do that, because when you completely overhaul a guy's jump shot, especially when he's in the NBA, that could completely kill his confidence and completely ruin his jump shot forever. But if you slowly tweak his jump shot from year to year and see somewhat of a slight improvement from year to year, that could really gain his confidence and he could become a way better shooter than anyone would even think. When you take a look at Zion's teammate Lonzo Ball, literally the best example, a perfect example. When Lonzo came into the NBA, he had that weird jump shot where he was shooting from the opposite side that you want him to, but over time, it didn't happen in 5 minutes. Over time, year to year, he really worked on it and brought that jump shot to the proper side, to the right side of his face. And now look at this season, he's shooting extremely well. And who could have thought that when Lonzo first came into the NBA? I feel like you see it almost every day. You see Lonzo hit 6 threes, 7 threes, 8 threes in a game. It's pretty common now, and Lonzo is definitely a very good shooter in this league now. I'm not saying I could see that big of an improvement for Zion from his jump shot, at least, even if he tweaked it a little bit, because Lonzo's jump shot wasn't great, but even in college, he was shooting it decently well, even though his form wasn't great. But for Zion, throughout his whole career, he's always been a guy who gets to the basket and doesn't necessarily have a good jump shot. So for Zion, I don't think it would be that much of a transformation, at least to the extent that Lonzo did. But I really think it would be really beneficial to Zion if he would work with a shooting coach during the offseason and slowly, he can't do it too fast, he can't completely change his jump shot, but slowly year to year make slight changes to his jump shot and continuously make it better. But even if Zion Williamson went throughout his whole career and never had a jump shot, he could still easily be a superstar. He's just that talented. When you look at guys like Giannis is a pretty good example. They have somewhat of a similar game, and Giannis can't really shoot that well, and he's a superstar already at this point. So Zion doesn't necessarily need to have a jump shot to become a superstar in this league, but I think he does need a jump shot if he wants to win championships. But fixing his jump shot is not nearly as important as the main part of this video, and that's his injury history. On the court, there's very few things you can say poorly about Zion Williamson. He's just that talented, but that's the issue. He needs to stay on the court. Zion recently, just yesterday, got hurt. He broke his ring finger, which is not a big issue. That's not something that could hurt him long term, and that's not something I would really be worried about, because that's kind of just a freak thing that just happens once. It won't really happen throughout his career. But really what I'm worried about is his knees. When you look at Zion Williamson, he's obviously extremely strong and extremely heavy at that point as well. And the fact that you combine that with the fact that Zion Williamson is insanely athletic, maybe one of the most athletic players in the league, those two usually don't match well. To this point, luckily for Zion, he didn't necessarily have any issues specifically with his knees throughout his career, which is definitely very good. But he has had issues around his legs and his lower part of his body, which isn't a great sign to see, especially that he's in his second year in his NBA career. And I'm not so sure about this, I would have to look more into it, but there definitely are a few videos comparing Zion in college compared to what he's at now, and people are saying that he lost a decent amount of athleticism just due to all the injuries. But even so, Zion is obviously super athletic still in the NBA, and I'm not even so sure if he did lose athleticism from college. That's just something I've been seeing a little bit around the streets. Now, obviously to this point, Zion hasn't had a catastrophic knee injury or even a leg injury to this point, and let's hope that he never does. But when you just look at his frame and how high he can jump, you just worry about those things. Obviously, if Zion stays healthy, I really honestly do think that he would be a superstar in this league for years to come, and maybe one of the greats, you never know. Because when you look at Zion in the league, what he's done to this point, only in his second season, he's easily averaging over 20 points per game. You could just start to wonder, how good could this guy really be when he gets 5 years, 10 years in the NBA, when he's really able to work on his game and work on other parts of his game, if he's able to stay healthy. That's the big key. Let's just hope and pray we could see Zion Williamson healthy throughout his whole career and really be able to watch this guy for years to come and be a really good superstar in this league. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Zion Williamson could potentially stay healthy throughout his NBA career and be a superstar for years to come? Or do you think the injuries could potentially catch up with Zion and maybe cut his career a little bit shorter than he would want? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.